Let me take a second and share with you about the Doula Guide Bundle, something I created after 10 years of supporting families through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. It includes the same step-by-step tools I use with my clients to help them feel confident, prepared, and grounded. So you can grab the full bundle or get them individually down below. Yo, your birth is like crazy, right? Like you almost didn't make it to the hospital. Okay, there was a whole flood.
Hurricane Ida.
Oh my God.
Our car was one of two that were not underwater. Our entire back porch was underwater.
It was underwater.
And all the roads around us were underwater.
Welcome to Positive Birth Corner. I am Mary Nisi, your host. This is where we are changing the narrative around birth. Welcome our first guest. Welcome aboard to Positive Birth Corner.
Thank you.
I am so glad you are here. This is happening. We've been dreaming about this day.
Yeah. You called me before I got pregnant with my second child.
This is true.
To
This
tell me
is
we're
true.
recording.
I said, listen.
And then you told me we're going to wait for me to give birth to my second child to record the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was prophesying what was going to happen. I said, we're having a baby number 2 because your birth was just absolutely incredible. But tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. My name is Moraa. I'm from Nairobi. Born, raised Nairobi, Kenya. Moved here for grad school in 2014. And then after grad school, started working, and then took a nice long year of like self-discovery road trip. And on the way back, I stopped in Philadelphia to hang out with my family before moving on and figuring out what's next in my life. And then I met my husband. And then the pandemic happened. And so then we were locked down together and hang out a lot.
Yep.
And then I got pregnant. So
And
here we are.
Hey, here you are.
Here we are.
Telling us the story.
Telling you the story.
Listen, pandemic was hilarious, right? Like there was like people who were getting married, right? You got married in pandemic.
Okay.
There were people who were like, well, this is how we got to know each other. Because you had no choice. You were stuck together.
We were stuck together 24/7.
24/7. And you're like, let's have a baby. Did you plan it?
Nope. Unplanned.
This episode is brought to you by Coco Life. Coco Life is an amazing organization that is standing in the front line of Black maternal wellness. They support pregnant folks from pregnancy, postpartum, and compassion. For more information, please check cocolife.black. You know, being pregnant, what was that preparation like for you, right? Because we talk about planning, preparing, and of course we want to hear all of the details about the birth. But yeah, start us from the beginning.
I was 29 when I got pregnant. Gave birth when I was 30. Again, I did not plan for this pregnancy, so unplanned. I say this because I did plan for my second. Once I got pregnant, it was like right after 2020 when the country was becoming aware that there's still racism in the country. And so yeah, it's like they thought it had disappeared.
Yeah.
So I was very aware that there was issues with Black maternal health. And so going into this pregnancy, I was very intentional in trying to find resources to help me navigate pregnancy as a Black woman and birth as a Black woman, because honestly, I was not trying to die.
Right.
I did not want to die.
Yeah.
I wanted a group of people to support me that loved me or cared about me and were going to make sure that I was okay. First trimester and half of second trimester, I found a hospital that I was going to birth in, and then I found a provider, and I started going to the provider a lot. And I was not asking many questions because I was a little bit timid culturally.
With the Africans.
Yep. You're taught, do not question.
Yep. Don't question. Don't talk.
If the doctor is the expert, you don't know. You don't know much. So don't question them. So I went in with that mindset, and then I was like, well, I was still trying to figure out how can I ask these questions. What questions can I ask? I didn't know. So we decided to do a birth class. This birth class, Shameless Flag, Blossoming Bellies.
Yes, Brittany.
Yep.
We love Brittany.
Yes, it's amazing. So went to Blossoming Bellies, and it's there where I finally got the language to ask the right questions, how to navigate, the hospital and birthing in the hospital, how to have conversations with the provider. So that's when I got to understand all those things. So she actually has a script where she's like, these are the questions that you can ask. This is how your partner can advocate for you. This is how you can advocate for yourself. So after that class, she also gave me a list of doulas, a list of midwives. So she basically gives you so much information. It's not a class to tell you, do not use an epidural, go unmedicated. It's more, here are all the facts.
Here's all of
Do
it.
with it whatever you feel like.
Yeah. And you were able to go with Jordan as well, right?
Yeah, I went with my husband, Jordan. We did all the classes together. Once she gave me all that information, now I go with my newfound information to, to my provider.
I have a list.
I'm like, all right, here's my list. And she's like, okay, I have questions. I never really had questions prior to, so I'm like, I have questions. And she's like, okay, let me hear them. And I was like, please tell me what your experience is with Black maternal health. And she immediately told me, she's a female white lady. And she immediately told me, I can refer you to a Black doctor if you'd like. And I was like, okay. And the thing that was kind of discouraging was I'd done research on her, and she had like maternal health background. She was pretty qualified, and I was like, she should at least be able to answer.
Yeah. And I definitely want to pause for a second because I want to, like, just this aspect of, like, you had already done research on this OB. Like, you were not just like, okay, I'll go to whoever. Nope. You went and found out what the credentials were, right? Like, that's huge. That's a huge step in, like, really preparing. Like, who's going to be part of your birth, your birth team? And it's a shame that she did not answer you. She was like, I can refer you to a Black doctor.
So she refers me to this Black doctor. And because now I was skeptical of whatever she was referring me to, I did more research on this doctor. Went on Google reviews, everything. Did not see any bad thing about him.
Wow.
And then he's actually the head of quality outcomes for the specific hospital. So I was like, all right, this guy should have, something for me. And it was kind of weird because I really wanted a female doctor, but I was like, I'm just gonna give this a chance. So
you were open.
I was open, So I go for my first appointment with him, and I have like maybe a list of 15 questions. It's one of those open-ended, like I need 5-10 minutes for each of these questions, right?
Yes.
So I go in with these questions, and this man answers each and every question in detail.
Yes.
And asks my husband, do you have any questions?
I know that's right. Right.
All the questions. I was like, all right, I felt comfortable. And I was in his office my first visit was maybe like an hour and a half. Just sitting down and getting all the answers I needed. And the really cool thing is, like, when I was there, I didn't feel like the other patients. I felt like I was the only patient there.
And that's huge, right? That's huge because you hear all the time, like, I have so many people who tell me, like, they feel very rushed, right? Like, you were in there for like 10-15 minutes, right? And then that's it. And then it's the next person. And you're like, I have questions.
Exactly.
This is my pregnancy. This is my body. Like, I need help.
Same day, came home and I was like, all right. Went on Google, Black doulas. Black doulas with African.
Right. You're like, listen, I'm from Kenya. I need someone who can understand. Let's go.
Because there's nuance to it, right? So I don't want just a Black American doula. No. Like, nothing against them.
Right.
But I just wanted somebody who I could be like, well, culturally, this is where I'm coming from. Like, this is how I operate and whatever. So had a list of doulas, and then I also cross-checked with the ones Brittany gave me. I was like, all right, let me start calling. I called about 5 doulas, interviewed everyone, had questions.
That is amazing. That is dedication. 5 interviews.
With my husband too.
Oh like, my God. You were like...
Yes. And I'm like, we like this, we don't like this, we like this, we like this. And then I got my doula.
I'm the doula. Listen, I told you I was so nervous at this interview. Again, it was pandemic, so we were on Zoom, right? I remember being nervous. I remember being really. Jordan had these questions, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm always an advocate of, like, partners. Let them be part of the conversation. Like, I do not do consultations without partners. Nope. Listen. You're a team. And you both need to feel comfortable with, with your decision.
Yeah.
But I just remember feeling nervous about it. Because part of it was, I was like, oh, we need to be friends. When this is done. I was like, she has no choice, right? I remember telling Drew about this too. Drew's like, yo, it does not work that way. You can't do that. And I'm like,
no, you don't understand. Won't understand.
I literally say I became a doula to make friends. So of course I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna support well so that like at the end when we're done,
like, do you want to go hiking?
We did. After everything was done, I was like, okay, you're no longer a client. We can go hiking. Do you remember that hiking?
I remember.
Oh my God, with the baby, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work because it was cold that day. And we brought the whole family. Yep. My kids were doing. I said, I don't know more. This episode is brought to you by Everybody Advocacy. It is a platform for birth, equity, and reproductive justice advocacy. Its mission is to connect the public with organizations and individuals who provide educational programming, evidence-based care, and policy initiatives focused on bodily autonomy for everybody. For more information, check out everybodyadvocacy.org. The dogs, oh my God. So you get your doula.
Yeah, I got my doula. And then I start like working on the birth plan. And so up until this point, I didn't know whether I wanted to do unmedicated birth. I didn't know how I wanted to birth. I didn't know what the options were. I just knew I didn't want to be on my back. I got my OB like maybe halfway through my second trimester, so like week 30, I think. So then I think I met you like week 32 or something like that.
Yeah.
So this is like later on. I have my birth plan. We walked through it together. And then you were like, all right, you discuss this with your OB as well. This is my team. These are the people I'm working with. And we have to be in sync. So went to my OB and I was like, hey, this is my birth plan. And he went through it. We talked about each line item. He was like, this is easy. This is, why do you want to do this? What's your thought process behind this? So he went through everything there. And the one thing there that he was like, why do you not want an IV line? I was like, I just don't. Why should I get it if I want to go unmedicated? And he was like, well, you should think about it because if there's an emergency, they're going to have to put an IV line in. And he's like, are your veins easy to get? And I was like, no, they're not easy to get. And he's like, well, I think it's a good idea to, get an IV line in. And I was like, okay, I guess so. And remember how long the IV line took?
This was the thing. Let's get into it though. So let's talk about birth is happening. You are having contractions.
I remember texting you and being like, I think I'm going into labor. I don't know. So I was actually in early labor. So that was the other thing, like, going to the birthing class and knowing the different stages of labor and how they look and how they feel and what to do. So instead of like freaking out and being like, oh my gosh, this is a contraction, I was like, I'm asleep. I told Jordan was out there watching TV. I was like, Jordan, I think I'm in labor. Let's go sleep. It wasn't raining. It was drizzling. So there was nothing.
I remember that day.
What was going on, it was the weekend of Made in America or something like that.
Oh,
so we had alternative routes to the hospital, but like didn't think that was gonna be
there was gonna be weather issues.
Right. You woke up from your so this is how it happened. I was sleeping with the TV on. I was watching Friends.
Of course, because you have to.
Yeah. That's how I fall asleep.
That was also our other thing. We love Friends. I'm like, oh, this is it.
That's how I fall asleep. So I'm watching Friends. So there's that, the glare of the TV. It was on and we're sleeping. And all of a sudden, it's dark. And all I hear is banging from in the outside. I just see a constant banging. And I'm like, what is that? Why is Friends off? What happened to our power? And then I get this horrendous contraction. So I'm like, Jordan, wake up. The lights are out. I have a contraction. This banging outside. Please go check what is happening here. So then he goes and does that. And as that is happening, I texted you. I'm like, I'm in labor. For real. So he goes outside and he finds that our entire street is flooded. The back is flooded, and the cross street is also flooded.
Oh my God!
And every car except 2 cars are underwater, and the only 2 cars was ours and our neighbors.
Wow!
So he's like, so Mary Nisi cannot come.
Right, because what was your plan? Is
I
that
was planning to labor at home
Right.
and then go when I'm about to give birth. We have to drive to the hospital.
yeah?
And I was like, but we have the dog. So we couldn't even leave. We couldn't. So the plan was drive to the hospital, leave the dog at home, and my brother-in-law would come and pick the dog. We couldn't even do that because nobody could get to us.
Nobody could get to you.
So we carry our bags, our dog,
Oh, poor Jasmine.
get in the car, and I start like the labor. The pains are just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
And it's every like 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
There's no clear road. We're trying to avoid puddles of water.
Yes.
There's potholes. We're driving in the back roads to get to the city. It took us like an hour
Wow.
or like an hour and a half to get to my sister's house, which usually takes us 20 minutes.
Wow.
I'm in pain. I'm yelling at Jordan. I'm like,
This episode is sponsored by my friend and color analysis, Kayla Renee, who helped me step into power on this mic and beyond. Do you want to know your colors? What makes you shine? Book your analysis at kaylarenee.glossgenius.com.
Stop! He's like, I can't stop.
He can't
I don't
stop.
want you to give birth in the car. Now, remember when you and the backup doula Lisa came over?
Yes.
And we practiced how to support when we're driving to the hospital?
Yes.
So we tried that.
But he's driving and
But
holding?
so he's,
Oh, my word.
And I'm like, stop. You're going at the potholes intentionally. He's like, I can't see the road. Get to my sister's house,
Yeah.
drop the dog. And I'm like, I need to shower right now. So I get in the shower and I'm like, feel so much better. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, I'm fine, guys. I could labor here. Do we ask Mary Nisi to meet us here? Like, apparently, I don't remember this. I think I was in transition. I don't remember this. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jordan says that my body just went in half. Like I just bent. Him and my sister look at each other and they're like, this baby is not being born.
We're not being
We are not having a
Absolutely
home
not.
birth. No. We are not having a home birth.
That's hilarious.
So they're like, you need to get ready and go to the hospital. Now, again, we didn't know that the hospital, you didn't have parking. It's in the city, so there's
That's
no parking. We
right.
thought they
I
had
know.
valet.
They don't. That's the one
Yeah.
hospital that doesn't.
So I had to, in my contractions, just walk through
Ah!
security, go check myself in. It felt like it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but
I was like, this sucks. And then they asked me, man, please fill in your information, your
Yeah.
insurance. I'm like,
why do they do that? Why? I'm like, you have my insurance.
I'm like, yes, take stuff. Don't ask me questions. The first doctor is like, oh, you're only 3 centimeters dilated. I'm like, great. So, the midwife comes, says, you should be here until like 7 p.m. Immediately I told her, yeah, I don't think I can make it. Yeah, I was like, I do not want an epidural.
Yeah.
Just give me something.
Yeah.
Something. And she's like,
Yeah.
okay. And she comes back and she's like, let me just check again, because the way you're acting and looking does not sound like 3 centimeters.
Because that's early labor.
Yeah. So she comes and she's like, yeah, you're definitely 5.5. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I can work with that, right? That's like what, 5 hours. Go work with that.
Yeah.
So you came in when we're still in the
triage.
Yeah. So you came in and the nurses changed.
Mhm.
So at this point, from triage up until labor room, these guys are trying to get
That's right.
the
This is
IV
the needle.
in.
This was the IV in.
Just
You're
poking me
getting
through. I'm just
bruises.
getting bruises as I'm laboring. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
They're waiting for me to not have a contraction so that they can do it. But I'm like, I want to rest now.
Yes.
I can't have the
Yes.
contraction.
Right.
Called the head anesthesiologist because he was the only one available that was highly skilled that could put
A needle. Yo.
And so he comes and he's like, you better not take this needle out. He does it in like a second.
We were trying to set up the room, the environment for you.
As we're waiting for her to give me towels to take another shower,
Yes.
my water breaks on Jordan's shoes. He stayed in his
You're right.
the entire time.
That's
Entire
love.
time.
That's love.
We're now in labor. We're using all the things that we prepared because we had so many things that we learned.
Yeah.
So we're just trying the
We
one
tried
that
all the
work. So eventually we figured out.
Right. It
which
was the hips. It was the hips, squeeze, right?
Yeah. So we tried that, and that was it. I
That
was
was
like,
it.
let's not change it. Let's just do it.
If I remember, I think Jordan and I would switch. It was mostly Jordan because I was like, "You're stronger than me."
Yeah.
You
I was
got
like,
this.
you have to hurt me on this. Like squeeze as hard as possible.
Yes.
They finally come and give me my morphine.
Yes.
It was right before I pushed, but they didn't know I was about to push.
Correct. Which is so interesting too, because I remember that, like, more like when they give you IV medication, that's normally given earlier.
Yeah.
Right. So that was interesting that, like, they assumed that you were a first time mom. You're gonna be here for a minute, right? It was just like all these assumptions that they had made. Like, we don't even need to check you because you just got here.
Yep.
And this could take forever.
And so they give me the morphine, and the midwife is like, "Wait, let's check how far you are because you're just acting different."
Yeah. And I remember looking at her and nodding,
and I'm like, because I'm like, I need to push. I feel like I need to poop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
and
now.
that's what it feels like, right? It feels like you need to poop. That's that feeling of like baby is coming. It's the same muscles.
And you're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right now.
She's ready. We are at 10 centimeters.
She's ready. I was like, well, excuse me then. Let me get on the bed.
Let me bring this baby. It's time.
So one thing that I guess reassured me is you said to me when we were having our chats before, obviously I went to sleep, that pushing feels like pooping, and actually pushing is so relieving. You had all this pressure and you're letting go, and it feels really good. So I went in, you like knowing that.
Yes, I love that.
That was one. Two, I was for like 1 minute, like, oh my gosh, they're gonna see me poop, and I was like, oh.
Listen, but that is the biggest fear, right? I have so many people who are like, I don't want to poop in labor. I'm like, I need you to poop because that's how we know that you're doing it right.
Yeah. But then I also labored completely naked, so that was the other thing.
Yes,
so
yes.
Whatever.
I was the same way.
They've already seen everything, so
I was the same way. I'm like, take that close.
Yeah, I don't want anything touching me.
100%. And I think it's a space of like where you're like so in tune with what's going on with your body and you're trusting your body, right? I love when people do that because I'm like, oh, you're in, like you are engaged. I think it's the primal aspect of us. Our bodies are amazing. Oh my god!
I remember like feeling a poop come out. Yeah, I looked at Jordan, I'm like, I'm so sorry, love.
You did.
And pooping, and he's like, you've been pooping. I was like, I guess
okay, now we know. Yes,
I guess we're fine.
Yes,
they had an issue with they couldn't hear the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And they kept on saying, oh, we need to monitor, we need to keep on monitoring.
Yeah.
I remember you telling them, well, the baby is moving down the birth canal.
Yeah.
The heartbeat is gonna keep changing.
Yes.
Like it's not gonna be where you felt you heard
it's not gonna be up here.
Baby's
coming down.
Exactly. So I remember them like being a little bit scared about that.
I remember them, especially the nurse was like was definitely uncomfortable and wanted you to move from your hands and knees to another position that worked for her.
Right. And the midwife was just like, no, she's listening. Nope, she's listening to her body. Leave her alone. She's listening to her body. And I remember them doing the cervical check when I was on my fours, one of the doctors, and they couldn't figure it out. And she was like, she's flipped, so you do it the other way.
Yo, this midwife was dope. At one point, she got the monitor from the nurse because they check you continuously when you're birthing. She did some. She was like squatting and kind of like did this thing. She's like, "You keep doing what you're doing. We got this." And the nurse was like, "Oh, that's right, because we are gonna let you lead the way."
That was really good. And then like just hearing, I think it's so important that I could hear in my moment, like in some moments I could hear the midwife say she's doing well. She's listening to her body.
100%.
I don't need to tell her anything. She's fine. So that kind of gave me some confidence. I was like, oh, okay, good. Like she doesn't need anyone to coach her.
I know people wanted to like count.
She doesn't need anything. Don't tell her when to push. She's listening to her body. So that was very reassuring. And I think gave me a lot of confidence in the moment.
Yes.
And then baby came. Baby came.
On your hands and knees.
Yeah, on my hands and knees.
Oh, in the hospital.
Baby came. Yeah.
Listen. Chills. I get chills. Yes, I was there, but I still get chills.
Another thing of like having a doula and my partner there and the midwife there, they had put the probe on her head because they said that her heart rate had gone down.
Yeah.
So they were worried. So when she started crowning, they put the probe on her head. And so when she came out and she did the twist,
yes.
the probe got stuck around her neck. And the nurse was trying to preserve the equipment. And this was like, just cut it! Cut it! What are we doing here?
Because and it was just like this, right when baby's being born, I'm just like,
what are we doing?
Right. And I try not to yell in labor room because I don't want to get kicked out because I'm like, I need you to leave. Right? But it was this moment of like,
yeah, they're like, what do we do? Just cut it. I didn't know any of this. None of this. I was like, is she out? I didn't know any of this. Like how that was like a moment where I think Jordan is just like still mad that they were trying to save the probe, which rightfully so. But like just having
this
that
is
being like, why are we debating on what on how to untangle it? So what? Cut that thing. They probably charged me for it.
They probably did. It's so helpful to hear stories, right? Like yours of where like you pivot, right? There's flexibility. There's really choosing what it is that you want, what you need, right? I love how you were like, I did not fully know what I wanted yet, right? Until later on. You switch providers. Like people don't transfer. We talk about it all the time. People they're like, oh dang, it's been 30 weeks. I guess I'm just gonna be with this person. It's like, no, you can switch. What did you say? You said Brittany told you can switch to when? Like
till 37, 38, like until you give like
the day before you can always switch, right? Because it's so important that you have like the right birth team, because that matters more than anything. I read a quote. Somebody said your birth team matters than your birth plan. Yeah. Right? I was like, that's true.
What's interesting is I was nervous that my OBGYN would not be at my birth because, that's how it works.
Rotations.
Yeah. But he was at the hospital. He was doing a C-section. And he told us, immediately you're headed to the hospital, text me. And we texted him and he, for sure, came and checked on us. He was like, I didn't think it would happen that fast.
Yep.
Because he came like at 10:30 and he's like, what? Why? Why is the baby here already?
Yep, I remember that. I recommend him all the time, especially when people are birthing in the hospital, because I'm just like, he's absolutely incredible. Yeah. And does like really beautiful work. Yeah. I love that so much. Tell us a little bit about like postpartum.
When we met, you're like, you have to have a postpartum plan. Yes. I was like, Mom is coming. You're like, great, good story. But you have to have a postpartum plan. So I sat down and like I wrote a plan. So something weird about me is like when something is going on in my life, me and notes like this. We're close.
Yes, I love it.
At night, I'm just there when I can't sleep. I'm like, all right, Jordan, this is what you need to do. Yeah. Okay. Even like for my birth, I was like, these are the people we need to call, and in this order.
I love it.
When I go into labor, Mom. When baby is born, mom, sisters, friends. Yes. In this order, these are the people who need to know. So postpartum, I did the same thing. I was like, all right, this is who's coming this week, next week. Like I had a list of the food we were eating, what the chores in the house were, who's doing what, who's walking the dog, who's making dinner, who's making breakfast. I just didn't want any decision making. Yeah. In postpartum, especially early postpartum, I was like, let me take care of all that. If you guys have questions, ask me. So I gave everybody a printed copy. Yeah, my mom-in-law was like,
that's right.
Here?
Yeah.
Do you have questions? Concerns? Is the menu working?
Is the menu working for you?
Can we make this?
I love it.
And so everybody was on board. So there was no questions. People just came in, stepped in, did whatever they needed to do.
And you were chilling. I love it, right? Because I think we talk about birth so much, we do all this prep and we forget postpartum, right? And this is part of like, I gave you guys the template too that I created. It's bigger. Now it's a whole booklet, which you have access to purchase, by the way. It's like thick. Because we have to plan for postpartum, right? I think the beauty of having positive birth experiences is that like it carries you over to postpartum. You get to have this bonding with your child and with your family, right? Like it's this beautiful thing. And when you don't plan for postpartum, it really messes up that,
Yeah.
that journey for you. Is postpartum going to be perfect? No,
No.
right? There's all of these things that happen, but the things that you can plan ahead of time, right? Like
Yeah.
the food. I always tell people, food, find a third person, right? They go, oh, I've heard people who are like, I'm going to do shifts. Like, it's just going to be me and my partner. And I'm like, I get that. And it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like, oh, you want to be in the bubble, just you, your baby, and your partner. Nah.
I'm like, listen, you're both going to be exhausted. You both need help. If you get a third person in there, you actually can have your bubble because the third person is going to do everything else. Part of our co-op, like, they do overnight postpartum. So, like, you can sleep. You and your partner can sleep. There's so many options these days because I know that not everybody has a family, not everybody has like the village, right? People have moved around, but I'm always like, you have to figure out how to bring in, so like I love the postpartum plan template because I get to like I give you questions that you wouldn't think of, right? Like, food, who's gonna do what when, right? Do you need to freeze food now? Do you need to?
And I don't like frozen food.
Right, so it's the African thing. We don't do frozen food.
Fresh food. Who will cook
from the market? Who
day?
will cook, right? And you have people who are part of church communities. I'm like, do they have, what is it called?
A meal train.
A meal train, right? I had a mom who did, her friend did a meal train on Facebook from her college friends. So what they did is they just did Uber Eats for her, right? I was like, that is so creative. But she's like, I don't really have anybody here. And her friend's like, let's figure this out. I said, yes, right? So there's creativity that you can do ahead of time. And thinking through, what are your things that need to be done, right? The dishes need to be done on a daily basis. I need laundry to be done once a week. Who's going to do those things? Because it's not going to be you.
No. And the thing that was really good is scheduling, like actually having like time block.
I love
like
that.
I was like, I'm going to sleep from 7 to 12. That means this baby has to have like eaten by 7.
Yes.
And you can find me at 12. Like that 5-hour window,
I'm sleeping.
And so I always used to hand the baby. I would wake up, breastfeed, be up with the baby until 6:50.
Yeah.
And then I'd give my mom the baby.
Close
my door, curtains, out. 5 hours. I was like, don't talk to me.
I love it. And honestly, like who you are, right? I know we talked about this. Who you are is who you bring to your birthing journey, right? So that's who you are. You do notes, you plan. That's important for you, and that's who you bring to postpartum, right? So I always tell people, think about like, who are you, right? This is also like a journey of you getting to know yourself. Who are you? What calls to you? What do you need, right? What do you not need, right? I have people who, like me from postpartum, I was like, right? Because that's just who I am. I'm just like, we'll work out. I planned it, but I didn't do that schedule, right?
That first child I did. This second one, I was like,
right, that part too. But I remember it was just like, we had the church meal train, kind of like, I was like, I don't work out. I'll sleep, whatever. But that is who I am. And if you're not that way, plan, plan ahead of time. Oh my God, love this story. I love this story.
The other thing that I remember you did put in a postpartum plan, I don't know if you have that in your booklet.
The renewal.
You were like, you need mental health.
That part.
Help.
That part.
If you see therapists, put that there. Schedule a therapy session once a week.
Yep.
Right?
I have no plan about therapy.
And then you were like, date night. Make sure you get that relationship going.
Yes.
Get a sitter, get a grandparent, I don't know.
Yes.
An Uber.
Somebody. No, we have to, but it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. And mental health is huge, right? Especially in postpartum season, right? There's a lot that comes up for folks, right? Stuff about your own relationship, maybe with your mother, or like your trauma comes out when babies are born.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then you're not sleeping and you're not eating. Girl, it all comes out. Someone was like, we talk about it in prenatal, right? Like, how do you care for your mental health? Are you in therapy? Have you thought about therapy? I've recommended so many to go to therapy in pregnancy. I'm like, go now, right? Because this is going to benefit you now. It's going to benefit you after, and and so much more, so much more. I love it. I think I want to hear, like, what does positive birth mean to you? And then, like, what's like an affirmation or advice you have for someone listening right now?
Yeah. So positive birth to me means having the birth that I wanted. And it didn't really mean unmedicated, which is what when I have conversations about my births, I'm like, I did it unmedicated, but that doesn't mean that is what made it a positive birth, right? I wanted to do it unmedicated, but it just means being able to do what I wanted to do in my birth, feeling safe, having the right team support me, and just being able to be vulnerable, because I don't think that I think you have to be vulnerable and have to let go to be able to be in the space to give birth. Because if you don't, you're not going to go into labor.
Yes, you have to allow your body to actually do what it knows how to do.
Right.
You can't,
Right. Right. So I think just being in a space of safety with people that, you know, are there to support you. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a partner. But yeah, just having that community around you and always there to encourage you, like, you can do this, you got this. Because I was really scared, but like just knowing that I could do it. My affirmation that I really loved was every contraction means that my baby is closer. And the more painful, the sooner this child is coming. So that was like every contraction was like almost here, almost here. So that was like my biggest affirmation. And then the other one was like, my body knows what to do. Like, the same way it got pregnant, the same way it's growing this alien in me, is the same way it knows how to get it out.
Same way it knows how to get it out. That's fine. I love it so much. I'm like,
it's like your body knows. It knows what it's gonna do.
Your body knows.
Yeah. So just trust your body.
It knows how to do it. It knows how to do it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being our first guest. I've loved this so much. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. What are your takeaways? Please, please, please. And share this with like another pregnant friend, right? Like, we're always around other people who are pregnant, who are expecting. Share it with somebody, because this is the goal, right? This is the goal, is that we hear these really good stories that make us smile and, you know, make our body like really, you know, shoulders down, right? So that you can just like receive and know that like just as myself and so many have had positive birth experiences, so can you. So till next time, see ya!